present to you the best Christmas pageant ever.
The Herdmans were the worst kids in the whole history of the world. They lied and stole and smoked cigars, even the girls, and talked dirty and cussed their teachers and took the name of the Lord in vain and set fire to Fred Shoemaker's old broken-down tool house. There were 6 of them: Ralph, Emma Jean, Leroy, Claudette, Ollie, and Gladys. And they went around Woodrow Wilson like those South American fish that'll strip your bones. They went around town the same way, stealing things and tearing things up and whamming kids, so it was hard to get away from them. There was only one safe place.
Sweet hour of prayer, because there are no herdmans there, and Jesus loves us, as they say, because he keeps them miles away.
That's my little brother Charlie. That's what he said when the Sunday school teacher asked what was his favorite thing about church. Charlie said no herdmans. Of course, that made the teacher mad because all the other kids said nice things about God and Jesus and good feelings. But old Charlie told the real truth: no herdmans.
I don't care what everyone else said. That's what they really thought. All that other stuff is okay, but the main good thing about church is there are no herdmans.
Well, that's not a very Christian sentiment, if you ask me.
Well, it's a very practical sentiment. Charlie was black and blue all last year because he sat next to Leroy Herman in school.
Leroy, is he the worst?
They're all the worst.
Ralph's the biggest, so if Ralph gets you,
That doesn't make any difference. Gladys isn't big, but she's fast, and she bites.
Forget I asked. Just stay away from the whole crew.
That's what I said. Stay away from them. Go to church.
I'm glad to hear you feel that way.
Why?
Well, no arguments this year about being in the Christmas pageant.
I don't want to be a shepherd again.
Well, tell Mrs. Armstrong you want to be a wise man.
I don't want to be in it.
You don't want to be in it. Think of how I feel on Christmas Eve if my own children were in the play. Think of how your father would feel. You'd feel terrible, wouldn't you, Bob?
Well, actually, I didn't plan to go this year. Hear me out. It's always crowded. They can have my seat. I can stay at home, put on my bathrobe, and relax. I mean, there's nothing ever different than Christmas pageant. It's the same every year.
Well, there's going to be something about it different this year.
What?
Charlie's going to be in your bathrobe.
Grace, you just made that up.
why don't you be Joseph? I bet you Elmer Hopkins will pay you dollars for Joseph. Elmer's sick of being Joseph all the time just because his father's the minister. Nobody wants to be Joseph.
Nobody wants to be in it.
Beth, what are you going to be in the play?
I'm always in the angel choir.
Why couldn't Charlie be in the angel choir?
Because I can't sing.
Well, from what I've heard in the past, that's not a big requirement. Away in the manger sounds like a closet full of mice.
What do you wear in the angel choir?
Bed sheets.
Oh boy, some choice. A bathrobe or a bed sheet. Come on, let's go watch TV.
You know, Mrs. Armstrong works very hard to give everyone a lovely experience.
Well, Mom, Miss Armstrong just likes to run things.
Is that George Armstrong's wife?
Yes.
I ran into him this morning. He told me that she had fallen and broken her leg. She'll be out for 2 weeks in traction, and she'll be laid up till the first of the year.
Oh, that's terrible. I feel sorry for Helen. She runs the potluck supper. She's in charge of the bazaar, and she does the pageant as well. So I feel sorry for her. But who's going to do all those things?
I don't know. Maybe she'll try to run the hospital.
Yeah, I guess they're going to have to cancel Christmas.
She's in charge of Christmas?
Well, she's in charge of the pageant, and she's in charge of the bazaar and the potluck supper. Like I said, I feel sorry for her, but who's going to do all of those things?
Yes, I'll take over the bazaar, Edna, if you'll do the potluck supper. I don't know what in the world we're going to do about the pageant unless... How about Grace?
Oh, Edna, no. I won't be able to do that. I have company coming that whole week of Christmas and we'll be busy. But what about Grace? What about Grace?
Hello, Grace.
Bob,
What?
I have to run the Christmas pageant.
Does that mean I have to go?
Our Christmas pageant isn't exactly what you'd call four-star entertainment. Mrs. Armstrong breaking her leg was the only unexpected thing that ever happened to it. It was always the same old carols and the same old Christmas story and the same old Mary and Joseph. And that's what my mother was stuck with. That and Mrs. Armstrong.
Tell you again, Grace, how important it is to give everyone a chance. Here's what I do. I always start with Mary, and I tell them we must choose our Mary carefully because Mary was the mother of Jesus.
Yes, I know that, Helen.
Yes, and then I tell them about Joseph, that he was God's choice to be Jesus' father. That's how I explain that.
Isn't Mrs. Armstrong in traction? How can she talk on the phone if she's in traction?
What do you think traction is?
Like when they put you to sleep?
No such luck. Can you get some salt, pepper, and napkins, please?
And I tell them there are no small parts, only small actors. Remind me.
You will save some for the rest of us.
Well, I'm hungry. Leroy Herman stole my lunch again today.
Why do you let him do that day after day?
How can I stop him? Where's the chicken?
Grace, where's the chicken?
It's still in the oven.
I'll get it.
You'll have to get someone to push the baby angels on. They get in each other's way and bend their wings all up. Bob could do that, and he could keep an eye on the shepherds too. Oh, and another thing about Peach, don't let them know they're
Oh, Helen, I have to go. There's someone at my door. There's someone at my door, Helen. I have to go. Yes, I'm coming.
Lady, can you get me some supper? I haven't had a decent meal in 3 days.
No, for heaven's sakes, it's you.
I was lonely at the table.
Well, I guess Helen feels lonely in the hospital.
Not as long as the telephones are working.
I'll bet she told you about no small parts, only small actors.
And getting someone to shove the baby angels on to make the shepherds shut up.
She did, and she suggested your father.
Does that mean I have to go?
And Grace, don't just use anything to make the baby angels. Quiet. Better yet, get two if you can. And if one turns out to be fussy, you can always switch them.
My mother didn't pay much attention to Mrs. Armstrong. She said Miss Armstrong was just stuck in the hospital with nothing to do but think up problems. And of course, there weren't going to be any problems. Well, my mother didn't count on the Herdmans. That was Charlie's fault.
Hey, Leroy, give me back my lunch. Sure, here, kid.
Hey, you stole my dessert again.
How do you know?
Because it isn't here?
What was it?
2 Twinkies?
That's right, that's what it was.
You think it's so great to steal my dessert every day? And you know what? I don't care. I'll even give you my dessert. I get all the dessert I want at Sunday school.
Oh, yeah? What kind?
All kinds. We get chocolate cake and candy bars and cupcakes. We get refreshments all the time.
You're a liar.
And ice cream and donuts and candy
Yeah?
bars.
Who gives it to you?
The minister?
Why, is he crazy?
No, I think he's rich.
That was the wrong thing to tell the Herdmans. And sure enough, the very next Sunday, there they were in Sunday school, just in time to hear about our Christmas pageant.
It's like a play.
Like on TV? What's it about?
Jesus,
Everything here is.
and it's about Mary. Well, mostly it's about Mary.
Who's Mary?
I am, well, probably I am. I know the part.
Come on, Beth, Charlie, Alice, come. Now, this won't take very long if we all settle down. Today we're going to decide on our main roles for our Christmas pageant. Of course, everyone will have an important role to play. You know what Mrs. Armstrong always tells you, how there are no small parts and only small actors? Isn't that what Mrs. Armstrong always tells you?
That's what she always says, but she never knows what it means.
Oh, well, don't you know what it means?
I know what it means. It means the sharks have to be in the front row of the angel choir, or else nobody can see them.
Well, not exactly. It means that the littlest baby angel is just as important as Mary.
I don't think anyone is as important as Mary. I'm not sure that's what you think, Alice. I think Jesus is more important.
I still think the sharks have to be in the front row.
Girls, 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 everyone is important. Jesus, Mary, and the short kids. Now, is everyone here? Beverly, will you go in the hallway and see if there's anyone else coming? Thank you. Now, our little children will be our baby angels, so I need to ask you to remind your mother to give you some bed sheets. And if anyone has any old bathrobes, okay, make room for the Herdmans. Have a seat. Have a seat, quietly. Did you guys see what happened to Beverly?
I think she got sick.
Did she say she was sick?
I don't know. All I said was, hi, Beverly. She left.
Oh, I see. Well, please tell Beverly that the rehearsals are for the next 4 Wednesdays after school, and plan to be here for each one.
What if we get sick?
Oh, you won't get sick. Of course, Mary and Joseph must absolutely be here for everyone.
What if we get sick?
Oh, they won't get sick either, Elmer.
Well, Beverly got sick and we didn't even start yet.
Well, we don't know that she got sick. So, now I want you to think about Mary, and I want you to think about the kind of person she was. She was quiet and gentle and kind, and the kind of person that plays Mary should try to be like that. So who would like to be volunteer for that part? Yes, Imogene, did you have a question?
No, I want to be Mary. Ralph, he wants to be Joseph.
Yeah, right.
Oh, well, how about I'll just make a list of volunteers, and then we can decide at the end who will be. Ralph Herdman. Now, who else wants to be Joseph? Did you raise your hand, Elmer?
No.
Okay, well, just raise your hands, please. Any volunteers? Any of you shepherds? Very well. Okay, Ralph Herman will be our Joseph. Now, Imogene has volunteered to be our Mary. I'll just write that down. Now, what other names can I put down on my list to play Mary? Alice, don't you want to volunteer?
No.
I'll be Mary. Shut up, Gladys. I'm already married. You be a wise man.
Well, the wise men are usually boys. Oh, of course they don't have to be in. I guess
I'll be a
we've got-
wise man.
Yeah, me too. Claude, you want to be a wise man? Raise your hand.
What's a wise man?
Just raise your hand.
What's left to be? Some angel. I'll be that. What is it?
It's the angel of the Lord that brings good news to the shepherds. Oh, we do have some volunteers after all. Yes, Hopi, did you want to be a wise man?
No, I just want to say, I can't be a shepherd. We're going to Philadelphia.
Well, why didn't you say so before?
I just remembered.
Oh,
Bradley, my mom said I can't be a shepherd.
well, why not?
I don't know. She just said don't be a shepherd. I'm not going to be a shepherd.
Oh, yes, you are. What's the matter with all of you?
I don't want to be a shepherd. Gladys Herman hits too hard.
Well, Gladys isn't going to hit anybody. The angel of the Lord just brings the good news to the shepherds that Jesus was born.
And hits them.
Oh, Elmer, that's ridiculous. Gladys isn't going to hit anybody, and I don't want to hear another word about it. Now, from anyone. Now, no shepherds may quit or get sick. Now, that's all for today. So you can go, but I expect you to be here at every rehearsal on Wednesdays at 6:30. Alice, why in the world didn't you raise your hand?
I don't know.
Alice, I expected you to
Out, Mrs.
volunteer.
Bradley! Get Gladys off me!
Don't you want to be married?
Out, Mrs. Bradley!
Oh, come on, Alice. I don't know.
I wouldn't dare raise my hand. Imogene Herdman would have killed me. She was like, I'm gonna be married. And I said, but I'm always married. And she's like, okay then, if you raise your hand or open your mouth, I'll stick a cactus so far down your ear that next spring when the cactuses grow, you'll spend the rest of your life with a cactus out of your ear.
You know she wouldn't do that.
She would too. The Herdmans will do anything. Just you watch. This whole pageant will turn into a big mess, and it's all your mother's fault.
Jane? Ed McCarthy. Did you hear about that? Yeah, well, it must be Grace's fault somehow. How else would the 6 of them end up in the pageant when they ought to be in jail?
Vera, from Miss Slocum here. I just heard that Emma Jean Herdman is going to play Mary in the Christmas pageant. Is that a fact? All 6 of them? Vera, I live next door to that outfit, and I'd rather live next door to a zoo. Has Grace gone crazy?
Where did they come from? Who let them in? Emma Jean Herdman? What kind of child is that to be Mary, the mother of Jesus? Where was Reverend Hopkins? I'd like to know. What? He was visiting shut-ins? I'm shut in and he wasn't visiting me.
So I said, well, why don't you just let them hand out programs at the door? But Grace said, we never have programs for the Christmas pageant. But I said,
Better nail down the church and hide the silver and lock up the collection plates before they clean them out.
What in the world was the matter with Grace? Couldn't she have sent them away? Tell them to go home? Oh, I feel responsible. If I had been there, up and around, this never would have happened.
If I'd have been up and around, this never would have happened.
I'm with you, Grace. I'm on your side.
Helen Armstrong is not the only